Hello and welcome everyone. This is Muhammad Fahim bin Amin, and in today's video I'm going to talk about the escape sequences in Java. Escape sequences are used to signal an alternative interpretation of a series of characters in Java. And in Java, a character preceded by a backslash is an escape sequence. I know that this thing might seem pretty complicated to you, but don't worry, simply follow me throughout the entire video and I can promise you that you would learn everything from me. Alright, so first of all, let me simply declare my public class, and that is public class main, and this is my main method, which is public static void main string array. I know if you are new to this channel and if you don't know why I am writing this thing and why I am calling it main method, what's the importance of this main method, then I would recommend you to check out my playlist from the beginning. All right, simply go through that playlist. The playlist name is Everything of Java. Pretty cool, right? And if you are also new to this channel, then please consider subscribing to this channel, and if my video helps you in any way, then give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. All right, enough talk about that. Let me simply dive into the session. All right, so first of all, I'm gonna talk about this /n. What this /n does, this /n simply inserts a new line in the text at this point. Let me simply show you something. So for example, let's say I'm simply writing my name. My name is Fahim. All right, and if I simply print this, it's simply printing my name in the terminal as expected. All right, now I know that you might say that you are not seeing any changes, so why I'm doing this? Let me show you something more. For example, I'm simply using another print statement, and in this print statement I'm simply writing something like I study at UIU, which is my university name, by the way, and the full form of UIU is United International University. All right, now if I simply run this code again, you see it prints my name is Fahim, and it prints the second statement, which is I study at UIU, in the next line. Why it's doing that, right? Haven't you thought about this, that I haven't specifically specified that I want to print the second statement in the second line, or you can say in the new line? I haven't told it in any way, right? So why it's doing that? Because we're using ln. Ln indicates that I want a new line after printing the statement inside this method. So only for that reason it's printing the second statement in the new line. What is happening under the hood? It simply prints my name is Fahim, and then it gets that I'm wanting a new line after this, so it provides a new line, and in that new line it writes I study at UIU, and then it again provides a new line. But as I haven't specified any other statement to be printed out here, so I'm not seeing any changes. Now if you are watching this playlist from the beginning, then obviously you should know about the differences between println and print, right? I'm simply showing it if you are new, but I would recommend you to watch that video. The video might appear somewhere in this video in the upper right corner. You can see that, right? All right, so let's say if I simply run this, you see the difference right now, right? My name is Fahim, and then I'm not getting any spaces or any new line. It simply prints the second statement alongside with it. Why it's happening? Because I'm not using ln, so I'm not specifying that I want a new line character after printing any statement or something like that, so it doesn't give me any new line. All right, so yeah, I know that you can use println, but let's say I'm not using println. So how I can do that? I would use this /n. This /n indicates a new line. All right, so let's say after printing my name is Fahim, I want a new line. So what I can do, I can specify /n right here. Keep in mind \n, not /n. All right, if you use /n, it shouldn't work. You see, it won't work because the syntax is \n. If you don't know what is backslash, this is backslash and this is /. You'd see the upper portion of it. The upper portion of this slash is moving backward, so we call it the backward slash. All right, and the upper portion of this slash is moving to the forward direction, so we call it the forward slash. All right, in the escape sequences we use backward slash. Keep in mind that. All right, now if I simply run this, you see, right? So what it actually does, it simply prints my name is Fahim, and then it gets that I'm specifying it to give me a new line character. So it's giving me a new line, and then it prints the second statement right here. All right, now if you want, you can do it like this. Let's say I'm printing my name is Fahim and I haven't specified any new line character, so it would start printing this statement just after this statement. But if I simply specify a /n before this statement, it would get that before printing this line, it should get a new line. So it would print this in the new line. Let me simply run it again. You see, here you won't see the differences among these outputs, but you should understand the differences between them, like how I just showed you. You can use the /n in the earlier statement if you want to specify that you want a new line character after printing the first statement, or if you want to specify that no, you don't want that, but you want to get a new line before printing this statement, you can use /n before here. All right, so that's pretty simple. So let me show you something more different. Don't worry about the code. I'm requesting you, don't worry about the code, because all of the codes would be available in the description box, in this video's description box as well. Simply follow me throughout the entire video. And today is very hot day, almost 40 degrees Celsius in this locality, and I'm simply sweating like hell. I have also stopped the fan so that it won't create any noise for you. So I'm doing very hard to make this video. Simply watch throughout the end. All right, that's it. All right, so let me simply show you something more different. So let's say, sorry about that, let's say, all right, cool. All right, it might seem that these things are distracting you, so let me simply delete those. I'm saying you again, don't worry about the code at all, because all of the codes would be available in this video's description box. Simply follow me. I'm struggling really hard to create this video, so I would request you to simply follow me. All right, so let's say I'm simply wanna print a large paragraph here, something like I am Fahim. All right, I am currently a student at United International, University. I am currently in my final year of my undergraduate. The spelling seems fine, I guess. If you get any spelling mistake or typo in my code, you can simply create an issue on my GitHub repository, and I would allow any pull request if that is sufficient or relevant. All right, so I like to play video games, listen to music. It would be listening to music, but whatever, let me simply go on, because I'm simply giving you an example. I'm not taking a grammar class right now. All right, listening to music, it would be listening to music. All right, and let's say I have two computers. One is my desktop, which is my workstation, and the other one is my laptop, which I use for the portability. Hey, that's cool, right? So if I simply run this code, you see this is printing the entire paragraph here. All right, actually this doesn't look good. Yeah, this doesn't look good. So let's say what I want this paragraph to be modified in the printing way. How I can do that? Let's say I want to print this paragraph something like each line contains only one sentence, right? For example, I wanted to print, it's like I am Fahim, then in the new line I am currently a student at United International University, and then in the new line I am currently in my final year of my undergraduate life, and in another new line I like to play video games, listen to music, it would be listening to music. However, and then in the next line I have two computers. In the next line, one is my desktop, which is my workstation, and the other one is my laptop, which I use for the portability. And in the next line, hey, that's me, I want to print it like this. So I know you can say me that, hey Fahim, we can do that simply using the println method. All right, yeah, you can do that like I did, but that doesn't satisfy my problem. The problem is I want to print it something like that each line contains only one sentence. Yeah, you can say me, hey Fahim, I can also do that using the println method. How you can do that? You might say that, Fahim, I want to do it something like I am Fahim in a println method, and in another println method, the next sentence, which is I'm currently a student at United International University, and then I'm gonna use another println method, and in that println method I wanna print simply I am currently in my final year of my undergraduate life, blah 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 blah. So that simply occurs that you want to print each sentence in each println method. Then if my paragraph, let's say if my paragraph has 1000 sentences, you want to use 1000 println method. Does that make sense? That might make sense, but that is not cool. We don't want our code to be messy or smelly, something like that. All right, so we won't use that much println method, but we would use a /n, the escape character, to provide a new line. That would solve our problem instantly. Let me simply show you. So let's say I'm simply using a /n here, or yeah, if you want you can use the /n here as well. That won't make much difference, because after printing I am Fahim, it would generate a new line, and then in the new line it would print this. All right, so you can add this /n with this statement, or you can add the /n before this statement, whatever you wish. It's your choice actually. All right, so let's say I'm currently a student at United International University, and then I want a /n. Let's say before I am currently in my final year of my undergraduate life, and then /n I like to play video games, listening to music, /n I have two computers, and then let's say /n, one is my desktop, which is my workstation, and the other one is laptop, which I use for the portability, and /n. Hey, that's me. All right, let me simply run it again. It looks good, right? Yeah, it looks good. It looks exactly what I wanted, but there's a simple mistake. Let me show you what that is. The alignment, you see, these 4 lines, sorry, 1 2 3 4 5, these 5 lines are aligned, are aligned in the left hand direction, but I'm getting a space here. Why is that? Let me show you what's happened here. One is my desktop. All right, so you see this is the statement where I got a space, because I have added a space before this new line. So what it actually doing is that it prints I have two computers here, and then it gives me a new line here, and then it gets that I am printing a space also. So it gives the space, and then it prints the rest of the sentences. But if I don't want the space, I can simply avoid the extra spaces between them. Let me simply run this again. Here you see those are aligned correctly like I wanted, right? So there goes my /n. All right, there goes my /n. You should be able to work around with this /n, right? If you have more question, simply ask me in this video's description box. You might want to connect with me with Twitter, using Twitter, using LinkedIn, and you can join to my Discord server. The link would be available in this video's description box. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me in GitHub, GitLab, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'll provide all of the link in this video's description box as earlier. All right, now let me simply head over to another escape sequence, and that is /p. This /p, listen carefully, these are new to you, I know that, right? This /p simply inserts a backspace in the text at this point. Let's say I'm simply printing my name, and that is my name is Fahim bin Amin, like this. If I simply run this, my name is Fahim bin Amin, cool. There's nothing wrong here, but let's say I'm simply gonna copy and paste the same thing here, but here I'm gonna use this /b. Let's say I'm gonna use the /b after Fahim, and if I simply run it, you see the differences here, right? For example, the first one, my name is Fahim bin Amin, it prints that, fine. But in the second line, my name is Fahim bin Amin, but it prints Fahi bin Amin. Where's the missing M? Here's the trick. Let me simply tell you how it actually works. But before that, all right, before that, let me simply show you something more. Let's say I'm using 3/b here, and let me simply show you the differences. My name is Fahim bin Amin, but here my name is Fahi by Amin. The M and this N is missing, but this N is not missing. So what is actually happening? When a backspace escape sequence, I mean /b, is encountered, it moves the cursor one character back to the left in the output without erasing any characters. Alright, so in this case, each backspace sequence moves the cursor back to the previous character, but that does not erase it. So it gets a /b, it moves the cursor one character in the left side, so it overwrites this M with this space. So I'm not seeing the M, but that doesn't mean that this M has been deleted. This M is simply getting overwritten with this existing space because I have used /b. And the same thing happened here as well. Here this /b simply overwrite this N with this space. So I'm not seeing any N here because that N has been overwritten with the space. But here what is actually happening, here this /b wants to replace this N with the thing, or you can say with the character, or with whatever that character may be, a space or something else, with something that it has after this /b, but it doesn't have anything after this /b. So it can't, or you can say it is replacing this N with an empty string. So here I'm not getting this N removed or something like that. But let me simply show you this. So for example, here I am simply adding an extra space, and let me simply show you the changes. Listen carefully. All right, here you see the changes. Here my name is Fahim bin Amin, cool. Here my name is Fahi bin Amin. Why is that? Because this last N can't be replaced with something else because this doesn't has anything after this /b. But here we get to the differences. Here after Amin I am adding /b, so what it would do, it would simply replace the nearest one character with the nearest character after it. It has a space after /b. So what it would do, it would simply replace this single N character with this space, and for that reason I'm getting Ami. The N is looking missing, but this N or this N or this M, these are not missing. They are simply getting overwritten by the thing just after that /b. Here I have an empty string, or you can say no, this is not an empty string. Don't get me wrong, this is not an empty string. All right, this is a space which is also a character. All right, so this M is getting replaced by this space, this N is getting replaced by this space, and this N is getting replaced by this space. For example, let's say I have added a hash here. All right, and if I simply run this, you see this N now is getting replaced by this slash, because this /b simply replaces the left hand side one single character with the right hand side one single character. So you see the differences, right? I know that if you are also an advanced Java programmer, then there is a high possibility that you uh, don't know anything about this slash b. It might also be possible that you are knowing about this slash b only from this video in your entire life. This might also be possible because this happened to me also. Whatever, we learn everything new and we experience new almost every day, right? So what's the harm, right? So there goes my slash b. Cool, right? And let me show you something more. All right. So now I'm gonna talk about the tab character, or simply put, the slash t. So let me simply remove these earlier things because I don't need this right now. So slash t, what it actually does, it simply inserts a tab in the text at this point. Now in most code editors, tabs are not the same as 2 spaces or 4 spaces by default. A tab is stored differently than spaces in the code. Tabs can be seen as a big jump in the text, while spaces are always one space each. First of all, let me show you something. Sorry about that. Let's say I'm gonna print something like I love video games, animation, music, movies, then let's say TV series, then books, then programming, then traveling, then sports, then food and games. If I simply run this code, all right, it's printing exactly how I wanted it to print. Well, I can simply take this in a new line so that, sorry about that, let's say it won't work like that. Well, whatever. In this line number 4, I simply printed this: I love video games, animation, music, movies, TV series, books, programming, traveling, sports, food and games, like this. Now it might look confusing because I haven't added any comma or something like that to differentiate between two different things. So here I simply printed this line: I love video games, animation, music, movies, TV series, books, programming, traveling, sports, and games. Now I know that it might looks confusing because I haven't added any commas or something like that to differentiate two different things in a single statement, but I have did that intentionally just to show you how this slash t works. Now, for example, let's say I want to uh, print these different things differently, like two spaces before them. Now how I can do that? I can simply add the extra spaces manually before or after these different things like I want it to print. For example, if I simply change these video games, animation and music, and let's say whatever 3 or 4, and if I simply run this, I am getting the output like here. But it might also feel little boring to add extra spaces before or after those things each time we want to get the extra spaces. Here comes our slash t or tab character. All right, so now the question comes how we can do that. All right, so here it was our earlier sentence and I'm simply pasting here the same sentence and I want to make the changes here. So how can I do that? For example, let me simply remove the, for example, let's say I'm adding slash t before video games, and that means I would get extra 2 spaces before these video games. Now, as I have told you, this tab character works differently in various scenarios. Like for some cases it specifies 2 spaces and in other places it specifies 4 spaces. But for now I'm gonna talk about simply the 2 spaces because that is more common and prevalent. Alright, so I love video games and animation, and music and movies, then TV series, then books, then programming, then traveling, then sports, then food, and let's say games. And if I simply run this, you see I'm getting additional 3 spaces before them. Here I'm not getting 3 spaces. Why is that? Because no, I'm getting 3 spaces here most probably. And here 1 2 3 4. All right, maybe I'm getting 4 spaces. Let me simply check it again. All right, I need to think about that, because you can modify how much spaces you actually want in your IDEs or text editors. All right, I'm not sure how much I have added in this Visual Studio Code profile of mine. It might get me 2 spaces or 4 spaces. You can change that as you see fit for yourself. I mean, for now, simply understand that how it actually works. If I want to get those tab spaces, tab character, I mean 2 spaces or 4 spaces, I don't necessarily need to add extra spaces manually by typing. I can simply use this /t to specify that I need those extra spaces here. All right. Now, if I remember correctly, it might be changeable from here, manage settings and tabs space here. You can see it right here, right? So that's how this tab character actually works. All right. So there goes my tab character. And now let me talk something different, and that is /r. The /r escape sequence in Java is called a carriage return. When Java encounters /r in a string that is being printed to the console, it moves the cursor back to the beginning of the current line. For example, let me give you the example first. All right. So for example, let's say I am printing hello world, and then I am printing goodbye. All right, goodbye. And let's say I am giving this /r, that is carriage return. Keep in mind that /r inserts a carriage return in the text at this point, All right. Now let me simply show you before adding this /r. If I simply run this code, I'm getting hello world in a line and I'm getting goodbye in the second line, like it should be. All right. Now if I simply add the /r, and let me show you the differences. Hello world, goodbye. Oops, I should remove the ln because I don't want a new line character here. And now I should see the difference. Here you see the difference, right? Now try to remember what I told you earlier, that /r inserts a carriage return in the text at this point. All right, so this is because the /r escape sequence moves the cursor back to the beginning of the current line, but it does not erase any characters that were previously printed. Therefore, when the second print statement is executed, it overwrites the hello. It overwrites this hello that was already printed on the same line with goodbye. And if I want to explain it in a more detailed version, then that would be something like this. The first print statement actually prints hello world to the console, and that /r escape sequence then moves the cursor back to the beginning of the line. The second print statement then prints goodbye. All right, goodbye to the console, and which overwrites the hello. It overwrites this hello and overwrites this hello with goodbye. And the latter thing comes after that. It also overwrites this comma and spaces. So therefore the final output is goodbye world without the comma and a space. And this is because the /r escape sequence moved the cursor back to the beginning of the line. But keep in mind that it did not actually erase any characters that are already printed on that line. So that's how it prints. It kind of similar like /b, I guess. Now let me simply make some more changes. For example, let's say goodbye to me with hello world. You see how it's replacing This slasher takes the cursor in the first line of the next line, most probably, like I have just told you. So it's replacing these strings with these new strings. So H is getting replaced by this capital G, a small e is getting replaced by a small o, a small l is getting replaced by a small o, this small l is getting replaced by a small d, this o is getting replaced by a small b, this comma is getting replaced by y, this space is getting replaced by a small e, this capital W is getting replaced by capital D, this small o is getting replaced by this small o, this small r is getting replaced by this capital M, this small l is getting replaced by this small e, and the rest of them is staying as they were, D and the exclamation mark, D and the exclamation mark. So that's how this carriage return escape sequence works. Now let's talk about the slash if. Slash if inserts a form feed in the text at this point. All right, so this slash if escape sequence in Java is called a form feed. When Java encounters a slash if in a string that is being printed to the console, it moves the cursor to the beginning of the next page or screen. So for example, let me simply print something like page 1, and let me simply use this slash f here. So after printing page 1, it would get a form feed to print the latter print statement. Alright, so let me simply print something like page 2 after page 1, and if I simply run this, you see I'm getting a huge spaces before the second statement, because this page 1 gets printed, and as I have also included ln, it is giving me a new line, and then it gets this slash f. So it identifies that I want to insert a form feed. All right, so here it inserts the form feed and then it prints the next statement, and after the next statement I'm getting another new line because I have added ln, but as I haven't printed anything after that, I'm not seeing any differences. So for example, let me create some differences, like I'm removing these ln, and if I simply run this, you are not seeing any differences. All right, so I need to use ln. Now let me simply run this and let me simply explain how the output was produced. So the first system.out.println statement prints the string this page 1 to the console, followed by a new line character, this ln new line character, which moves the cursor to the beginning to the next, as I have just told you, to the next line, because I have used tln to specify that I wanted a new line. All right, then the second system.out.println statement contains only this slash f, the form feed escape sequence. All right, so it moves the cursor to the beginning of the next page or screen, here. All right, then the third system.out.println statement prints the string page 2. Keep in mind that after this slash f I have added ln, so I'm getting another new line, and in that new line I'm printing the third statement, which is page 2. As the cursor was moved to the beginning of the next page by the slash f escape sequence, the page 2 string is printed on a new page. All right, here I am not seeing any new page because I haven't added any page or something like that here, but simply try to understand how it works. So we end up with the output page 1 on the first page. Page 1 would get printed on the first page, and then followed by our form feed, which moves the cursor to the beginning of the next page, and then page 2 is printed on the second page. So that's how slash if actually works. Now I'm going to talk about something more different, and that would be slash a single quote. So it actually inserts a single quote character in the text at this point. Now let me show you something. So for example, let's say I'm printing I am Fahim. All right, and if I simply run it, I'm getting I am Fahim, but this is actually not the correct way to do it, because we might get some errors or something like that if we use these escape sequences in some random strings. So the correct way to do this is insert and slash. All right, insert a slash. So for that reason, if I want to print any single quote, I have to use a single slash before that, backslash, I mean. So if I simply print, it works. So try to use backslash if you want to print any single quote in the console output, obviously. All right. And now let's talk about the slash double quote. It actually works kind of same like earlier. So let's say I'm simply specifying a string variable, let's say message, and I'm saying he said, comma, I am coming home, like this. But you can see there is errors already. Why is that? Because we know that if we want to declare any string variable, the string data should be enclosed in double quotations. All right, now here I have used the starting quotation. That is cool actually, and I have used another double quotation here and here as well. So the compiler would get confused, like, yeah, I know that this quotation specifies that this is the starting point of this string. That is fine with me, cool. But what actually is the ending or the terminating point of this string? How we should understand? Yeah, we are human. We understand that he said, comma, he's a statement, so I am simply enclosing it with a double quote. That's cool. But compiler is not human, so it doesn't understand that it's actually a part of the string. It doesn't specify anything like, hey, a compiler, this is the starting point, or this would be the terminating point. It won't understand that. So we have to specify that it understand what we actually want it to understand. All right, so if we want to print any double quote in the terminal, we have to use the backslash before that, like this. And here I want this quotation to be printed, so I have to use a backslash before this quotation, like this. And if I simply want to print the message, you see I'm printing it. That's cool. So let me simply do something more. Let's say I'm taking another string variable, let's say string quote equal to, and here I'm simply adding a single quote escape sequence. So instead of printing only the message, I can print something like the single quote character is represented by an quote in Java, like this. Actually, it's an example for the first, I mean for the single quote, but however, I'm showing you everything here. So yeah, you can understand why I used this, right? Now, if I want to use something like this without using the escape sequence, it would also get printed, but that's not a good way to do it. Keep in mind that whenever you want to print any single quote or double quote, make sure to use the backslash so that it won't create any error or something like that. All right, now for the last time for this double quote, let me simply show you another example. So for example, I said yeah, I am coming home. So I want this double quote to be printed in the console, so I'm simply adding backslash, and if I simply run it, yeah, it gets printed exactly how I wanted it to print it. All right, now don't worry about the code, because all of the code will be available in the description box like earlier. Now I have come to the last part of this video, and that is to insert backslash character. I mean, yeah, I know that if I want to use any escape sequence, I have to use the backslash character. But what if I want to print backslash character in the console? Then what I need to do? I need to use another backslash character to specify that that backslash character is not actually meaning something. It's actually represented or intended to print on the console. All right. And yeah, for example, let me show you something first. I am printing a. Now if I want to print it like it, you see it's getting an error, because whenever it gets a backslash, it expects a escape sequence. It's by default in the Java compiler. What can we do about it, right? So if I want to, I mean, the compiler expects something /n/f/r or something like that. I mean, the compiler expects any escape sequence when it gets a backslash. All right, but as I want to print this backslash, I have to use another backslash to specify, look compiler, or hey compiler, I want this backslash to be printed like this. Yeah, so for that reasons we use backslash. If I simply run this code, you see it's printing this. Now let's say I want to print 3 backslash. How I need to do it? You might say, hey Fahim, I can simply use 3 backslash and I can add another, I can use 3 backslash to print 3 backslash, but I have to use one single backslash to specify that those 3 backslashes are meant to just print on the console. But that's not how this Java compiler works. If you want to print backslashes in the console, for each backslash you have to specify one individual backslash. All right. For example, if I simply run this code, you would see 2 backslashes. Why is that? Because these backslashes are getting printed only for this backslash, and this backslash is getting printed only for this backslash. So 4 backslash means it's printing 2 backslash. As I want to print 3 backslash, so I have to provide 6 backslash. All right. So it provides the even number every time, because for each backslash I have to use another backslash like this. If I simply run this code, you see I'm getting that 3 backslash. All right. It's getting, whenever you would work with the file name in Java, you would face the necessity to use this double backslash a lot, really a lot. For example, let's say I'm gonna simply print, how can I say this, a path or a directory from my Windows machine. So the directory can be something like this, C colon, then let's say users and my username, and then my desktop, and then let's say I have added main.java here. But it detects an error, because when it gets this slash, you see it's telling me that it's getting invalid escape sequence. It expects something like /b or /t or /n or /f or /r or double quote or /single quote or /, but it's not getting anything like this. So it's getting confused that, hey Fahim, what you actually want me to do with these so many backslashes, but you haven't specified what you actually want to do with these backslashes, right? So as I wanted to print these backslashes, I have to use single backslashes before each backslash. All right, now if I simply run this, you'd see it's printing like this. So that's how escape sequence work. Now I have showed you all of the possible scenarios, or you can say examples, I can within this video. I know the video is getting long. What can I do for it, right? Because if I want to explain something more and in details with some relevant examples, the video would get longer eventually. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna simply render this video and try to publish it within tonight. And I would also try to write an article to publish on FreeCodeCamp. I would make sure to add the article link in this video's description box as well, so that if you want to read through the entire article, you can do that as well. All right. Now, if you want to follow me, you can do that in GitHub, GitLab, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I will provide all the link in this video's description box, as always. And if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. Share it with your friends. You can also join to my Discord community. If you want to support me, you can buy me a coffee anytime you want. The links all would be available in the video's description box. So that's it, everyone. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in another video in another time. Till then, take care. Ta-ta.